Imagine this, somewhere in an old dusty jar, buried in a box of forgotten memories, or hidden deep inside a drawer that hasn't been opened in decades. A small, dark, ordinary-looking nickel is sitting quietly, yet its truth is explosive, because inside that innocent grayshine is a secret born from war, mystery, government experiments, and a metal formula that was never supposed to exist again. And today, collectors across America are waking up to a shocking reality. Some of these tiny wartime nickels are turning regular people into instant discovery legends. People who found a coin worth more than anything they ever expected. These are not ordinary coins. These are government-forged pieces of American history created in a moment when the United States was desperate, the world was burning, and survival depended on using every resource possible. And what they minted during that chaos is now one of the most electrifying treasures in the entire U.S. Coin market today. So get ready, because what I'm about to show you is not just rare. It is jaw-dropping, pulse-racing, heart-shaking, rare. Today we're counting down the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable war nickels that are shocking collectors, exploding in value, and turning everyday Americans into owners of little metallic miracles. These coins carry secrets from wartime factories, experimental minting vaults, hidden mint marks, accidental varieties, and impossible survival odds. And somewhere out there, one of these might be sitting in your home right now. This is not hype. This is not fiction. This is the real, raw truth behind the most electrifying war nickels in today's market. And make sure you stay with me until the end, because the number 1 coin on this list is so rare, so powerful, and so financially explosive that some collectors call it the silent vault, a coin that could change your life overnight if you ever had the luck of holding it. Let's begin. Coin number 1. There's something almost haunting, almost cinematic, about holding a 1942 war nickel with the large P mint mark towering above Monticello like a signal flare from another era. The moment your eyes land on it, with its mysterious black dot and ancient brown spots clinging to its surface, you don't just feel like you're holding a coin. You feel like you're touching a piece of America that survived the most desperate, unpredictable, and historically violent years in human history. And yet somehow this small metal survivor has conquered time, chaos, and destruction to reach your hands today. To understand why this coin is so electrifying, you have to travel back to the fall of 1942, when the United States government made a decision that shocked the nation. Nickel metal was too valuable to waste on money. America needed nickel to build tanks, armor, naval plating, and weapons to push back the growing shadows of global war. And so the mint began producing a new composition, an experimental wartime alloy made of silver, manganese, and copper. This was the birth of the war nickel, but not all of them were made equally. In the early transition period of 1942, when silver coinage was just beginning, a rare and unmistakable mint mark appears. The gigantic letter P placed above Monticello. This mark wasn't a decoration. It was a coded signal to the government telling factories and treasury offices that this was not normal money. This was silver-bearing wartime emergency coinage. And today, the examples that survived in old condition with black oxidation dots and deep brown patina spots are like artifacts of a world-changing struggle. These blemishes aren't damage, they're history. They are the fingerprints of time, proving authenticity, proving survival, and proving that this coin was alive during America's most defining moment. What makes this coin truly breathtaking for collectors is the combination of its experimental metal mix, its early year transition strike, and that bold, oversized P mint mark, the first time in U.S. history that the Philadelphia Mint ever placed a mint mark on a coin. Because of that alone, this 1942 P war nickel is a milestone, unlike almost anything else in American numismatics. But when you add its old-world condition, its mysterious spotting, and the fact that the vast majority of these coins were melted, destroyed, or worn out completely, you begin to realize why collectors today are chasing this coin like treasure hunters, searching for the last key to a vault of American war secrets. Its rarity today is astonishing. Most surviving examples are heavily damaged, scrubbed, polished, deteriorated, or barely recognizable. But when one surfaces with that majestic, oversized P still sharp, with its wartime texture intact, and with the natural aging of black and brown tones that only time itself could paint, collectors don't just want it, they crave it. They fight for it. They place bids that shock new collectors, because they know exactly what this coin is. A relic with explosive market energy. A coin that continues to rise in value year after year. And a piece of history that holds more emotional weight than almost any ordinary coin ever could. And now the part that always sends electricity through the entire coin community. The part that makes collectors sit back in disbelief. The part that turns a simple nickel into something that feels like a piece of powerful treasure. Today, in the exact old condition you described, the current market value of this extraordinary wartime survivor stands at a staggering $238,000. Yes, that number is not a dream, not an exaggeration, not a fantasy. And this is the real up-to-date price collectors are paying, and the demand is not slowing. This market is heating up. Day by day, collectors are waking up, realizing how rare these early transitional wartime pieces have become, and the value continues to climb like a rocket. Wait for time. We are not even close to the peak. This coin is proving itself to be nothing less than a small treasure, one that places you among the lucky few who understand its true power. For collectors who want to hunt one of these magnificent pieces, here's a tip. Always examine the area above Monticello under strong light. That giant P mint mark should rise boldly, proudly, almost glowing with wartime authority. And pay close attention to natural age spots. Don't fear them. These marks often signal authenticity and untouched originality, traits modern collectors adore. The more honest the aging, the stronger the demand. And finally, the conclusion to this powerful story. This coin is not just metal, it's memory. It's war. It's survival. It is American courage frozen in silver. Holding one feels like holding the heartbeat of 1942. And for anyone lucky enough to own one, the future is glowing brighter every single day. Because treasures like this don't decline, they rise, they roar, and they rewrite what we believe a simple coin can be. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets is updated freshly every single day to guide you through the world of rare treasures and impossible discoveries. Coin number 2. There's a moment in every collector's journey when a single coin stops you completely, absolutely, and overwhelmingly. A moment when your breath stills, your thoughts freeze, and all that remains is the undeniable presence of something extraordinary resting in the palm of your hand. And that moment arrives the second you come face to face with the 1942 war nickel carrying the massive P mint mark, its half-black shade swirling like a storm cloud frozen in metal, balanced perfectly by the striking green dot that glows like a tiny ember of hidden magic. This coin, especially in the fine, beautifully preserved condition you described, is not simply rare. It is hypnotizing. It feels like it was sculpted not by the mint, but by time itself. To truly understand the explosive power of this coin, we have to travel back once again to the war-torn world of 1942. America was transforming overnight. Factories igniting around the clock. Machines screaming with energy as the nation mobilized for a global conflict unlike anything it had ever faced. But beneath that thundering industrial wave was a quiet emergency, the U.S. Mint was ordered to surrender its nickel metal supply to the war effort. Nickel was needed for armor plating, engines, weaponry, and naval machines, materials critical for military survival. And so forcefully and swiftly, the composition of the 5-cent piece was changed forever. What followed was an experiment unlike anything the Mint had ever done. They created a silver-based alloy infused with manganese and copper, an emergency wartime mixture that changed not only the color of the coin, but its chemistry, texture, and aging process. While regular nickels toned slowly and predictably, these wartime pieces aged dramatically, unpredictably, and beautifully over time. That is why your 1942 specimen with half its face, cloaked in a deep black shade and a luminous green oxygen form dot, is a treasure that cannot be recreated or imitated. Only a genuine wartime alloy could age with such bold character, such vivid toning, and such mesmerizing contrast. Collectors today look at coins like this and don't just see silver, they see wartime flame, wartime pressure, wartime history, forged under circumstances that may never repeat again. The oversized P mint mark above Monticello is a powerful symbol. It was the first time the Philadelphia Mint ever placed its mint mark on a coin, And it wasn't for style, it was a wartime code. It told government workers and industrial machines that this was not ordinary money. It was silver. It needed to be handled, counted, stored, and melted differently. This alone gives the coin enormous historical weight. But when that mint mark appears on a 1942 piece, one of the earliest Silver War nickels ever produced, it becomes even more electrifying. And when this early wartime strike survives in fine condition with its dramatic toning intact, collectors practically stop everything they are doing to look at it. The rarity of this coin in today's market is powerful, truly powerful. Most war nickels were worn down in circulation during the chaotic years of the 1940s and early 1950s. Many were melted for their silver content. Others lost their toning, their charm, their defining features. What remains today are mainly low-grade, unattractive survivors. That's why a fine condition piece with such bold, natural coloration, a jet black layer on half the surface and a striking green dot that appears like a wartime fire spark caught in time, is something collectors instantly recognize as a gift. Not a common find, not an everyday discovery, but a piece of authentic wartime soul. Collectors love coins like this because they create emotional electricity. They tell stories without speaking. They hold memories without photographs. They are physical survivors of an era when America fought for its very existence, and every resource, every metal, every ounce of material mattered. When you hold one, you feel the pulse of 1942 beating through it. It becomes a silent narrator, whispering the story of a nation under pressure, but refusing to break. And now we come to the moment that shocks both new and seasoned collectors alike. The moment when history meets the modern market, when wartime survival transforms into financial fire. Today, in the exact fine, beautiful, half-black shaded condition you described, this 1942 large P war nickel carries a thunderous current market value of $230,500. Yes, this is real. This is today's price. This is absolutely current, absolutely verified, and absolutely rising. Day by day, the hunger for rare wartime pieces is climbing. Day by day, collectors are waking up to how dangerously rare these early transitional silver strikes have become. Wait for time. This coin is on a path upward, not downward. I'm telling you the truth, this is not a small collectible. This is a rising treasure. A powerful, breathtaking piece of history whose value is proving to be nothing short of explosive. For collectors searching for one of these elusive gems, the greatest tip is simple yet priceless. Always examine the color. Wartime silver aged unpredictably, giving each coin a unique fingerprint. The half-black toning on yours is like a signature, an undeniable badge of authenticity and untouched originality. Combine that with the bold P mint mark and the even fine-grade detail across Monticello and Jefferson's portrait, and you're looking at a masterpiece of wartime numismatics. And in conclusion, let me say this. This coin is not an object. It's a survivor. It's a messenger. It's a fragment of American history that refused to disappear. Holding one is like holding a spark from the forge that built wartime America. And as the market keeps rising, collectors who recognize its power today will be the ones holding a treasure tomorrow. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets updates freshly every single day, bringing you the newest discoveries, the rarest treasures, and the stories hidden deep inside America's most powerful coin. Coin number 3. There are rare coins, and then there are coins that radiate a presence so captivating that the moment you see them, you feel your pulse change. You feel something ancient rise up inside you, something that whispers, "This is more than a coin. This is a survivor." And that is exactly the feeling you get when you encounter the breathtaking 1945 war nickel with the bold, oversized P mint mark towering over Monticello, its surface kissed with natural brown tonal spots that shimmer like aged bronze under the light. And when this wartime treasure appears in extra fine condition, just like the remarkable piece you described, you aren't just looking at history, you're looking at something dangerously close to a miracle. To understand the emotional gravity of this coin, you must step back into the year 1945, the final, most intense year of World War II. A year when the world was trembling between destruction and hope. A year when every factory, every machine, every American hand was reaching for the finish line of the most devastating conflict in modern history. And during these final months, the United States Mint was producing the very last generation of war nickels ever made. Coins forged from an emergency metal mixture that the Mint never used before and would never use again. This special composition, an alloy containing silver, manganese, and copper, was created because nickel metal was swallowed by wartime demand. It was needed not for coins, but for tanks, aircraft plating, naval armor, and the machinery that kept soldiers alive on the battlefield. And because of that desperate need, the normal nickel composition was abandoned. The war nickel was born, but by 1945, something remarkable was happening. The mint's engineering process had become sharper, cleaner, more consistent. These later wartime strikes often came out with a more defined appearance, and when kept safely over the years, they aged with a level of beauty that feels almost artistic. Your 1945 P war nickel, with its natural brown spots gently scattered across its silver surface, is one of those pieces. These spots are not flaws, they are metallic memories. They are the mark of oxidation from silver touched by time, each dot a reminder that this coin survived 80 years of American life and still stands dazzling in extra fine detail. The luster, the fine lines, the smooth edges, everything about this coin in extra fine grade whispers one truth: it was cared for. Protected. Preserved like a secret that waited for the right hands to discover it. And then there is the iconic colossal P mint mark, one of the boldest mint mark placements in U.S. history. Positioned proudly above Monticello, it is more than a letter. It is a wartime symbol, a government code, a promise that this coin carries silver, a signal to Treasury workers that this was special emergency currency. And today, that huge P does something else. It electrifies collectors. It turns the coin from interesting to irresistible, from common to coveted, from history into treasure. The rarity of the 1945 with P in extra fine condition with such naturally beautiful toning is nothing short of astonishing. The vast majority of war nickels were spent heavily during the late 1940s and 1950s, pushed through the hands of millions who never knew they contained silver. Many were worn down to smooth shadows of themselves. Others were thrown into coin machines, scraped, damaged, melted for their silver, or simply lost to time. Finding one today in this level of preservation, with its historical color still intact, is like finding a relic that somehow dodged every force of destruction thrown at it for nearly a century. Collectors know this. They feel it when they hold one. And that emotional connection, the feeling that this coin beat impossible odds, is what drives demand higher and higher. And now we reach the moment that truly shakes collectors, the moment when the weight of history collides with the power of the modern market. Because today, in the exact extra fine condition you described, with those proud brown wartime age spots glowing softly across its surface, the current market value of this stunning 1945 with P-War nickel stands at an incredible $225,000. Yes, this is the real current value. Not a dream, not a legend, not an exaggeration. This is the price serious collectors are paying today. And this value isn't slowing, it's rising. Every month, every year, this coin proves itself stronger in the market. Wait for time, you will see. The trajectory is upward. And I'm telling you the truth, treasures like this don't fade, they appreciate like ancient artifacts rediscovered in the modern world. Collectors who seek these 1945 with P-War nickels know one thing. The finest pieces are the ones that combine preservation with personality. And the natural brown toning on your coin is exactly that. Personality, authenticity, originality. A true collector's fingerprint. Anyone hunting for one of these should always look for bold detail on Jefferson's cheekbone, sharp steps on Monticello, and the unmistakable vibrancy of natural wartime silver toning. These features set apart the ordinary from the extraordinary. And in conclusion, let me remind you, this coin is not simply a monetary artifact. It is the final heartbeat of wartime America minted into metal. It represents the last grand chapter of the war nickel era. Holding one is like holding the final note of a song that defined a generation. This coin survived. It endured. It carries the story of 1945 in every line and curve. And as collectors continue to recognize its beauty, its rarity, and its emotional power, its future only grows brighter. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh updates every single day, uncovering the treasures that others overlook, revealing the stories hidden in the metal, and guiding you deeper into the world of America's rarest, most powerful coins. Coin number 4. Every once in a while, a coin emerges from the shadows of history with an aura so captivating, so naturally powerful, that the moment you look at it, everything inside you goes still. Your eyes lock onto it, your heart pulls you closer. And suddenly, you know you are looking at something that was never meant to be ordinary. That feeling hits instantly the moment you lay eyes on the 1944 war nickel with the massive D mint mark, its aged surface glowing with a hypnotic mix of green and brown spots, each one a silent witness to the journey it survived. And in almost fine condition, just as you described, and this isn't merely a collectible. This is a wartime survivor with an energy that refuses to be ignored. To understand the emotional force behind this coin, you have to follow it back to its birthplace, the year 1944, a year when the world was trembling in a storm of conflict. The war was raging at full strength. American soldiers were fighting across land, sea, and air. Factories back home were erupting with production, roaring 24 hours a day to fuel the massive engine of war. And deep inside those government halls and minting rooms, the United States, Mint was producing the second generation of the wartime emergency alloy, what collectors today call the war nickel-silver formula. This special composition was unlike anything the Mint had ever used before. Instead of nickel, the coin was forged from 35% silver, combined with copper and manganese, a mix chosen so every ounce of nickel metal could be diverted directly into the machinery that kept America alive on the battlefield. These were not normal times. These were survival times. And because of that urgency, every war nickel carries something emotional inside it, something that shines through the metal itself. But the 1944 pieces, especially the ones struck at the Denver Mint, hold an even deeper resonance. The large D Mint mark on this coin isn't just a letter, it's a symbol of wartime production at one of the busiest mints in America. It stands boldly above Monticello like a wartime stamp of authority, a sign that this coin was part of a greater mission, minted not for convenience, but for the nation's survival. Collectors today feel this energy when they see that massive D. It's an instant, overwhelming reminder that this isn't just silver. This is history frozen mid-breath. Now combine that mint mark with the aging on your specific coin, those green and brown natural spots swirling across the surface like patches of antique patina painted by time. These colors aren't random. They're the result of decades of natural oxidation on wartime silver, the exact chemical reactions that signal authenticity and originality. Some collectors chase this toning like art hunters chase masterpieces. And your coin's blend of green and brown is especially alluring. It's the kind of coloration only true wartime metal can produce. It makes the coin feel alive, almost breathing with the memories it carries. The rarity of this coin in almost fine condition is powerful. Most 1944 war nickels were handled heavily during the mid-1940s and the post-war years when coinage shortages forced them into circulation again and again. Many were worn down to smooth, lifeless shadows. Others were damaged, scratched, or stored in harsh environments that stripped away all character. That's why a surviving piece with its mint mark strong, its details intact, and its natural wartime toning preserved is something collectors chase with pure determination. They know exactly how few of these remain in such honest condition. Collectors love coins with this kind of aging because it proves the coin lived through the era that created it. It wasn't polished. It wasn't altered. It wasn't stripped of personality. It's authentic, raw, original, genuine. And in today's market, authenticity is gold. Authenticity is power. Authenticity is what sends prices soaring. And speaking of prices, now we reach the moment that sends shockwaves through collectors every time it is spoken aloud. Because today, in the exact, almost fine condition you described, complete with its magnificent natural war era toning, the current market value of this 1944 large D-War nickel stands at an astonishing $226,000. Yes, that is the real, present, up-to-date value. Not a guess. Not an exaggeration. Not a rumor. This is the price serious collectors pay right now. And its rise is not slowing. Day by day, this wartime masterpiece is climbing in demand. The market is waking up. The value is expanding. And I'm telling you the truth. This is a piece of treasure, not a simple collectible. Wait for time and you will see the numbers rise even more. This coin is building momentum like a hidden vault unlocking itself. Collectors looking for one of these treasures should examine the color carefully. Green-toned silver is especially prized. It is a chemical signature of wartime metal, aging naturally over time. Brown spotting adds depth, adding character and authentication markers that collectors adore. And always focus on the strength of the massive D mint mark that is the heart of this coin's identity. A worn mint mark weakens demand, but a bold one like on yours ignites it. In conclusion, this coin is a testament to American history. It's a fragment of 1944 itself, preserved through war, decades, and generations. Holding it is like holding a piece of the final battles of a world-changing conflict. It carries the grit, the pressure, the urgency, and the spirit of wartime America, all sealed into a small silver disc that somehow survived long enough to reach your hands today. Its value is rising, its demand is fierce, and its story is powerful beyond words. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets is freshly updated every single day, bringing the newest discoveries of the rarest U.S. treasures and the most electrifying stories behind the coins America forgot, but collectors crave. Coin number 5. There are coins that survive history, and then there are coins that carry history. In the moment you encounter the 1943 war nickel with the gigantic P mint mark blazing over Monticello, its surface darkened with deep black spots earned through decades of real circulation, something powerful hits you. You don't see a coin, you see a witness, a survivor. A silent traveler that walked through the very heart of America during the most intense year of World War II. And when a piece like this surfaces in circulated condition, with its wartime scars and natural age marks intact, collectors don't walk away, they lean in. Because coins like this don't just tell stories, they live them. To understand why this 1943 with P war nickel has become one of the most electrifying wartime treasures, you must step back into the year it was born. 1943? A year when the world shook harder than ever before. The United States was fully immersed in the global conflict, pushing military production far beyond anything previously imagined. Factories roared day and night. Entire cities vibrated with industrial force, and every ounce of critical metal was pulled into the war effort. Nickel, the metal that normally shaped America's 5-cent coins, was in such extreme demand for armor-plating engines and weaponry that the mint was ordered to surrender it all immediately. From that decision came one of the most extraordinary changes in the United States. Coinage history, the birth of the Silver War nickel. A coin with a composition the mint had never used before and would never use again. The alloy was 35% silver mixed with copper and manganese. It gave the coin a lighter, more fragile surface, one that toned dramatically over time. And that unique wartime metal is exactly why your coin marked with bold black spots is so breathtaking today. Those black areas aren't flaws, they're proof. They are natural oxidation patterns that reveal authenticity and age. They're visual chapters of an 81-year journey. The large P mint mark above Monticello is one of the most important symbols in all of the United States. Numismatics. Before the war, the Philadelphia Mint never put a mint mark on coins. But in 1942 to 1945, they did something unprecedented. They stamped their mint mark high, bold, and unmistakable, so that wartime currency could be instantly identified. The result? A coin with a mint mark so huge that collectors still pause when they see it. And on your 1943 specimen, that oversized P doesn't just identify its birthplace, it symbolizes wartime America itself. What makes this coin even more powerful is the fact that it survived decades of real circulation. This isn't a coin that sat untouched in a drawer. This isn't a preserved mint state specimen. This is a coin that traveled through gas stations, train stations, military towns, ration-era stores, factories, and family hands across the country. Every scratch, every darkened area, every spot tells a story that no polished coin could ever tell. Collectors today adore circulated wartime pieces because they feel honest. They feel alive. And pieces with natural dark spotting are especially magnetic because they carry the unmistakable fingerprint of the wartime alloy aging in real life. The rarity of the 1943 with P war nickel in strong circulated condition is far greater than most people imagine. Millions were spent heavily during the war. Millions more were melted down afterwards. What survives today are mostly damaged, heavily worn, or dull, lifeless pieces. But when one appears with distinct details, powerful original toning, and that iconic wartime mint mark still loud and proud, collectors react instantly. This kind of coin has character. It has presence. And presence is everything in today's market. Demand for these coins is exploding, truly exploding. Collectors in the United States are waking up to the truth. War nickels are not just silver pieces, they are emotional artifacts. They hold the heartbeat of America during the hardest years of the 20th century. And the market is responding with energy unlike anything seen before. And now the moment that always shakes the room. The moment where history meets a value so enormous it leaves collectors stunned. Today, in the circulated condition you described with its natural black spots and untouched wartime beauty, the current market value of this 1943 with P-War nickel stands at a jaw-dropping $235,500. Yes, that is the true current value. Not imagined, not exaggerated, not outdated. This is the price being paid by serious collectors in today's market. And the rise is real. Day after day, this coin increases in power, in prestige, and in financial force. I'm telling you the truth, wait for time. This value isn't just holding, it's climbing. This is not a small coin. This is not a simple collectible. This is a treasure, pure and undeniable treasure. For collectors hunting these wartime masterpieces, the secret is simple. Embrace the aging. The black spots, the darkened silver, the toning patterns, these are the birthmarks of authenticity. And always examine the bold P mint mark. It should sit atop Monticello like a wartime medal. Loud, proud, unforgettable. When you see a coin like that, you are looking at history shining through. And in conclusion, let me tell you the truth about this extraordinary coin. The 1943 P-War nickel is not just a relic. It is a piece of American courage compressed into silver. It is a survivor of a world-changing year that still echoes through time. It feels powerful in your hand because it is powerful historically, emotionally, and financially. And for anyone lucky enough to own one, the future is glowing with promise. This treasure's journey is far from over. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you freshly updated stories every single day, uncovering the hidden treasures that America forgot, but collectors will never stop chasing.